Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. I'm going to do a yesterday, today, and tomorrow reading on the U.S. Supreme Court. This one was a request brought through the community page. Thank you. And again, the Supreme Court has made several controversial decisions over the past few weeks, a lot of which seem to be taking our rights back to the 50s. The question is it the 1950s, the 1850s, or the 1750s? So, what I want to find out here is, one of the spiritual lessons for the Supreme Court. What is this? One of the things that the Supreme Court is supposed to experience as an entity, a collective, as it were. How it's faced this in the past, how it's currently dealing with it, and what it might face in the future. And then kind of the overarching energy. What is the lesson to be learned through all of this? Entertainment purposes only. Let's find out. Supreme Court. What have you got going on? Oh, well, of course, the most difficult card in the deck to read. The Moon card. All right, there's a bunch of mystery here with the Supreme Court. Things hidden. Things not obvious. So there's a lot of secrecy and a lot of stuff we don't know about the court. And the court's been dealing with this. They've had this energy for a long time. We've got the Queen of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, and the Tower in the past. Current situation, Knight of Wands, the Devil. Can we actually see this? Let me raise this up a little bit. There we go. Five of Cups, Three of Swords. In the future, Judgment, Four of Wands, Page of Cups, and the Four of Pentacles. What an interesting read. I say that because I just did a Joe Biden reading, and some of these cards came up in that reading too. The overarching lesson, Queen of Cups, Eight of Cups, Ace of Wands, and the Nine of Swords. All right, and underneath it all is the Emperor. All right, so what do we have here? The mystery of the Supreme Court, the mystery of their decisions, the nuance, the stuff that we don't see going behind the scenes. Basically, like all the politics that were probably always there, but we never knew before. And the Supreme Court, in some ways, truly are the emperors of the land. Let's see if it's better if it's up there. They get the final say on things. They get to tell you if something's legal or not. You have to bring the legal case up, but once you've brought it up, they get the final say on it. Now, the lessons that we need with the Supreme Court is the Queen of Cups. They need to keep their emotions in check. They may have personal feelings on this, but ultimately, they're supposed to rule on the law. That doesn't mean there isn't passion on there, but they're supposed to keep their passions capped, keep their control. The Ace of Wands. The Supreme Court wields a lot of power, and they can do a lot of things with that power. And they should be able to. We want a Supreme Court that is rational, that is balanced, that considers everybody's feelings on things. But they have to be able to walk away from things that don't work anymore. We have to be able to progress as a society, and sometimes we need to leave the old way of doing things behind. And this is a difficult job. It can be a job with a lot of anxiety on it, but with that great power comes great responsibility, and your responsibility is to progress. Even if it causes anxiety in the collective, we're supposed to progress. Okay. How we get there is a mystery. But, okay. So in the past, we had the Queen of Pentacles. This is holding things of value. This would be your Supreme Court. coming in and evaluating cases, and the merits of the case, the value of the case, how the case impacts people. It impacts, there's always going to be a winner and a loser, but how do you balance this so that it's an equal playing field? The Supreme Court is about the law, but it's about giving, the United States is a country of equality. That's pretty much our thing, right? And if we don't have a level playing field, there's no equality. And the Supreme Court is supposed to be the arbiters of that equality, to make sure that everything's an even playing field. They come forward with the offers of things of value. There's big value in here. And what I'm starting to be concerned about is that there is money that's coming into the Supreme Court that is undoing the integrity of the court. The court is supposed to, be very level-headed, very fair. It's got the power. It needs to progress. But decisions that were made in the past that brought money into it have really started to undo the fair, balanced nature of the court. And you can look at like Citizens United and that whole right around that time frame as to the thing in the past. That's what this is discussing. And they made an emperor decision on that one, and that brought big money into government and to the Supreme Court itself. Current situation. There is now a plan. There is now an agenda afoot. This agenda is disappointing to many, many people. It's heartbreaking. It's a betrayal of the court. They have hooked themselves up to the devil. This right here is the Federalist Society encapsulated. Federalist Society has had people put on there. They've said the right things to get onto the court. Now they're on the court. The plan has been implemented. And now people are starting to understand that what is happening, and it's not good for the United States. We have chained ourselves to the Federalist Society, and we are betraying the interests of women, the LGBTQ community, and young people as a consequence of this. Again, this plan does not follow the Queen of Cups anymore. This Queen of Cups is supposed to be about balance. It is about taking that balance and being fair and just. And now, instead, they're reversing it. Oh, they're keeping a lid on things, all right, and they're using their power to advance their agenda, but instead of progressing, they are walking back to the past. And they're going to make some groups' lives hell. It's difficult enough to be a member of the LGBTQ community. It's gotten easier over the years, but that doesn't mean it's easy. Now you start taking away these rights and give people the ability to discriminate against them just when they're starting to get a little comfortable and feel a little bit accepted. You're going to want to shove their butts right back in the closet and treat them like garbage. You want young people to be financially strapped basically for the rest of their lives so that they have to work for peanuts to some industrialist somewhere. You think that's fair? Women having their reproductive rights taken away. What else are you going to take away from them? Shall we take away their credit cards too? I mean, that's a recent thing. What, the late 60s, early 70s, when women could finally get a credit card in their name? Shall we take that back on our glorious jaunt back to the 50s, 1918 or 1750s? This is what we're in right now, and we've got to get out of this. Somehow, some balance needs to be brought back to the court through very strong action so we can start progressing again. But this is a huge challenge right now, and we got that emperor energy underneath there that somebody needs to take command. You can't rely on John Roberts and the Chief Justice of the court to do this, because the court is off course. It needs to be brought back on course again. In the future, there's going to be judgment. The Supreme Court is going to be reviewed, and it's going to be judged. And it's going to be young people. We're going to start looking at the Supreme Court in a different way, Because right now, with this corruption, it impacts this card right there. This card is an exact response to where this court is going to right now. And this judgment is going to balance that, because that's the Queen of Cups energy, taking somebody who's off course and putting them back on course again. Young people are going to be involved, and it's also going to be looking at the Supreme Court differently than we have in the past. We're going to be welcoming new members to the Supreme Court. I would guess we're going to see at least 4 new members to the Supreme Court. We got 4 twice. These members will probably be more limited members than full members, if that makes sense. So picture a Supreme Court appointee being on for 4 years or 8 years or 10 years. Probably 10 years would be a reasonable thing, because then you the next administration, it gives the other party the ability to replace them with somebody of their political affiliation if the mood of the country has shifted that way. But there is definitely going to be an increase. I believe it's going to be an increase of 4 justices to this to balance out the mayhem that this is causing. Again, why? Because the Queen of Cups is about balance. The Supreme Court's about power, and this power is being abused. So we need to bring it on back so that we can progress and not have people stressed out and having their rights removed. And whoever does that, it's going to be an emperor. So that could be very well be your Joe Biden energy finally coming in. Again, I tend to think that this is a 2024 thing. If Biden can get the presidency and the Dems can hold both houses of Congress, expect there's going to be big changes that come at that point. Clarence Thomas and Justice Alito, Samuel Alito, I think they're holding on by the skin of their teeth. They're older. They want to retire, and they're going to wait to see what the result of the 2024 election is going to be. That's going to be 2 of them right there. And then Biden just might decide that he's going to take, Judge Ginsburg and I'm sorry, who did we lose? That Merrick Garland was supposed to go in. I'm forgetting now. Sorry. But no, Merrick Garland and who we should have had for Justice Ginsburg, he'll put those people in too. And there's going to be your 4. We also have 9 Supreme Court justices. We have 13 federal districts. And somebody pointed out to me that once upon a time, the number of justices kind of aligned with the number of districts. So there's a perfectly wonderful rationale for having 13 justices on there. And so you can add, you can replace 2 and add 4 more. Those 4 more could be, they could be termed. That's fine. And it gives both parties the ability to nominate those. But I think that's fair. Might as well make up the rules as you go along. Ace of Wands style. It hasn't stopped the Republicans from doing it. Turnabout's fair play. I'm not advocating for cheating, but I am advocating for leveling out the playing field. Even if it's the number, watching the Republicans lie, cheat, and steal about this. Now, if you're still watching this and you're thinking, oh, he's just biased. No, there's cheating and there's playing fair. Republicans have been cheating, and they've been cheating for a long time. And it's time to take it back. Thank you. Thank you for watching my video. Hope you found this insightful. I hope it gives you a little bit of hope that this isn't forever. It might be another 1.5 years, but it's not, or 2 years, but it's not forever. I think change is coming, and it's going to be a good change on this one. There's going to be a day of reckoning for this. Thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for asking your questions and inspiring me to keep doing readings and throwing information out there. And I hope you find it helping ease your day and ease the burdens that you have to bear. We all have enough work to do without taking on the nightmares that are the politics of the U.S. politics that we've had for the last 7-8 years. Have a great night, and I'll catch you on the next reading. Take care.